David, this week, we're going to have to do this quick before the light defeats us, but what are we in this week?
A Peugeot 2008 SUV, and it's the GT.
GT. David, this got a facelift a little while back. It's been out for some time. It got a facelift. The front got some extra lines. Would you like to be barrel girl? Daytime running lights. It's the cat's claw thing that Peugeot is known for. We've got these weird side cover things on the alloys.
Well, see, yeah, now that looks from a distance like you've got nothing here, you know.
Yeah, you've got the very strong lines of the V's front and back. And then you've got a
pointing.
That's right, and you've got a couple of lines here at the back.
Oh,
absolutely,
here,
absolutely lovely taillights. I think that looks smashing. Although you probably shouldn't say smashing when it comes to cars. There is a fair bit of room in the back. Manual tailgate.
Heavy.
It is heavy, but it does stay open at least. It's on twin gas struts. You had a couple of child seats in the back this week, David. You've been driving it.
Yeah.
You said that with all the stuff, baby stuff in here, there wasn't a lot of room for you and your good lady wife.
4-year-old and 7-year-old, there was a pram, there was some bags and that. We had to take them somewhere but not stay, so it was enough room. If we had have had any luggage, we would have been in trouble.
Well, some would say your wife has got a bit of baggage.
She's in trouble.
Some would say, if you get my meaning.
Actually, for a little SUV, you just got to duck your head a bit, but I tell you what, there's a fair amount of leg room there.
Yeah, but that's because someone short was sitting in that side, David. If it was me sitting in that side, there probably wouldn't be quite so much leg room.
Yeah, but I've still, you know, there's several inches there that could come back a bit. I can get my feet underneath. Not a lot of control.
What's a few inches between friends, I've always said, David.
Well, they can be important.
You've got some outlets down here. What are they?
Just USB.
USB?
Oh, no, hang on, that's a USB-C.
This is an absolutely cracking interior.
You remember, Alan, you said the seat was forward. You're right.
Yep.
It was well forward.
Yeah, I thought it would be. But it still leaves a lot of room in the front. Look at that beautiful piece of car architecture, that automotive genius to get those panels to, well, more or less line up. It's not quite lining up. This is a Peugeot, so you do have to give it a long press.
There were a couple of times I left the car running until I realised that I hadn't.
Yeah, quite right. Now look, this system, I'm not going to lie, it is a little difficult to get used to, and it's also difficult to come to terms with.
Can I show you the thing that might...
By all means.
If you were to try and turn the air conditioner on but set the fan at a thing, you've got air max and on and off. If you look here, you're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
If you press here, it looks like it's just a symbol. It's actually a button. It'll take you to here. It won't necessarily help you as much, like here. That doesn't...
Well, I'd turn the fan, I'd do that for fan and I'd do that for temperature. Is that not the case?
You do have a button here that gives you if you want this.
Now you've got your seat heating on, look.
Yeah, my frustration level was rather high.
Well, there's some more USB-Cs at the front. There's a 12 volt. And look at this, this is rather an interesting gear selector. Reverse, drive,
but you've got to press the button for the manual. You might have thought that if you do drive and down, you'll get the manual. No, you've got to press the button.
That's one thing I was aware of. There's a drive mode button here, couple of cup holders, electric parking brake. Yeah, I really like this. Well, there's the Dash 2. I remember at the launch, I didn't like this very much.
What the hell was...
It's just a little bit. It looks like handlebars on a motorcycle, but it's around the 3D dash. This is 3D, believe it or not. David, tell me about the engine.
It's a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol with 96 kilowatts of power and 230 newton metres of torque, whether it be in the Allure or the GT.
Okay, and an 8-speed automatic, I think.
Ah, yes.
Whoops. Okay. Oh dear, it's all gone a bit wrong. I've got a couple of paddles up here. And oh god, this has still got that Peugeot paddle thing.
there's the button to adjust the
closeness,
distance.
yeah.
Where's the button to resume? I don't know that is it there or does it exist?
I can't. Well, it's behind the steering wheel. This has always been my problem with that system, is that you can't see it. Neither of us had any idea what was going on. Well, I didn't have an idea what was going on. You might have, but I was clueless.
No, neither of us, I think, sums up our situation quite frequently.
I think you can see how close we're sitting here. So this is actually quite a small car.
Yes.
The ride and handling, David. Let's talk about that for a bit.
I found that it felt, and this is the GT part of it, it felt a couple of times when I was on a rural, not rough road, but certainly it seemed to
skip.
Well, yeah, but thump you, not thump, but certainly give you a shove. Shoved you a bit more than rode over it. I
think this has a torsion bar rear end, but I shall check that and I will put it in the comments. In just here, I'll just put it here, just there. I might put it there. Cycle perhaps. The steering has gotten much firmer at speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like the layout of the dash. I like the layout of the center console. This looks really smart.
It's got things like the covering of where your phone sits in.
You'd easily miss
which
that,
you can
wouldn't
easily leave your phone in.
Is there a warning?
No, not that I'm aware of.
But that's French for you, David. I think you've got to acknowledge the fact that this is parlez-vousing some Francais.
Yes.
And the French are just a little unusual. The cabin is nice and quiet. I've been in the Subaru BRZ, and on this road I could hardly hear myself think.
This is pretty good because this is a bad road.
But this does have lane control, but I don't think the lane control's on.
It seems as though it's long, but it certainly wasn't controlling me on a fairly well line marked but secondary road. Okay, sport.
Let's see if sport makes it any. But your fuel consumption is already pretty dreadful considering what's promised.
Well, it's promised to be 5.6 combined, and I would have done a lot of enough highway to get a good combined figure.
4.2 or something, I think, on the.
And I certainly haven't been hooning it. I've done classic.
I felt the wheel skip then.
Oh, okay. See now.
Oh, it's trying to take me up to 100. I didn't press the button again. Yeah, I mean, it's nippy. It feels nippy in the around town setting for sports mode, but
yeah, that's probably just holding it in lower gears a bit, is it?
Would be, which is why it's using more petrol. I think one of the reasons why I've owned Peugeots myself, and the thing about them is that they were always a little underpowered and a little overpriced, at least in Australia.
It fits its expectation.
Well, the ride and handling are spectacular, but Peugeot has always had superb ride and handling, except for the very sporty models, which just about broke bones. I like this. I think it's very attractive to look at. I haven't looked at how many they've sold this year, but I wouldn't think it's very many.
No.
And I think considering the opposition, David, you've got a lot of people that are going to be spending less money on something with more power. And if you go to the Chinese cars, you're getting a car that's probably double the size for the same money.
They priced this at $36,000 for the Allure and $42,000. Those are the special prices at the moment. I think they've dropped them significantly, haven't they?
To move them on, yeah. Well,
that's drove away.
Well, it said special on the website, so I'm just assuming that the price in very small print was the normal price, which was considerably more. That's all this week from the Peugeot 2008 GT. David, what do you think?
It's a nice little package, but gee, you've got to get used to the human-machine interface.
I do like a nice little package. You with me? You with me? Nothing. You're right, the Peugeot interface is what we might call unique.
I ended up screaming at the side of the road.
Yeah, it does take a little bit of getting used to, and I noticed you had the user guide out.
Ah, yeah. That was a help.
In any event, hit like.
Leave a message.
And I think the little round thing to subscribe.